I used to believe the worst battles of my life would always happen inside a courtroom, with lawyers tearing each other apart over contracts and property lines, with me sitting up there in a black robe deciding who walked away a winner and who walked away in ruins. Turns out, the fiercest case I ever fought didn't happen in court at all. It happened in my own damn living room, under a chandelier I paid for, with champagne spilling on my antique rugs, and an HOA president who thought she could steal my house right out from under me. And the part that still makes my stomach knot, I actually let her through the door myself. Her name was Linda. Linda Foster. If you've ever dealt with one of these HOA tyrants, you know the type. Clipboard clutched like it's a weapon. Fake smile stretched tight. Always talking about community standards, while her eyes measure what you've got that she doesn't. One afternoon she showed up on my porch, sweet as pie, asking if she could borrow my mansion for her niece's wedding. "Just one day," she said. "In and out. No trouble." Against my better judgment, hell, against every instinct in my bones, I said yes. I told myself it was harmless. A wedding, some flowers, maybe a rented tent out back. But Linda never wanted just one day. The morning of the wedding. I woke up to trucks unloading like it was the Oscars, stages, champagne fountains, banners with Willow Heights HOA printed in gold letters, slapped right across my front gates like they owned the place. Guests rolled up in luxury cars, not cousins or uncles, but county officials, business partners, developers. I watched from the edge of the crowd, jaw clenched, as Linda floated around in an ivory pantsuit like she was the star of the show. She introduced herself not as HOA president, but as the lady of the house. My house. I tried to laugh it off, but the truth hit me hard when I heard her raise a glass and declare, "Isn't it wonderful to finally open our mansion to the people who matter most?" Our mansion. She barely mentioned her niece, the supposed bride. That girl looked like a prop, shoved to the side while Linda soaked up the spotlight. By sundown, my lawn was wrecked, my fountain clogged with petals, wine spilled across my dining hall, and instead of thanking me, Linda stood in the foyer sighing. "Lovely, wasn't it? And this is only the beginning." The beginning of what? That's when she looked me dead in the eye and said, "You'll see, this mansion fits perfectly with the HOA's vision." The next morning I thought the nightmare was over. Weddings done. Guests gone. Peace restored. I should have known better. I woke up to hammering outside, workers reattaching banners, setting up chairs, dragging a bigger floral arch across my grass. When I stormed out in my robe demanding answers, some kid shrugged and said, "Mrs. Foster told us it's for the HOA social, an HOA social, at my home." Linda appeared moments later, clipboard in hand, as calm as if she were welcoming me to my own property. "Isn't it exciting?" she said. "The neighborhood loved the wedding so much." I thought, why stop there? This house belongs to more than just you now. It's a symbol. We need a proper headquarters. And what better place than here? Headquarters. She wasn't asking anymore. She was declaring. I told her flat out this was my private property, that I'd only agreed to a wedding, one day, period. She waved her manicured hand in the air and said, "Don't be dramatic. Everyone agrees. This is the natural evolution of things." Later that evening, she dropped official paperwork into my mailbox. Documents claiming my land had once been community property, stamped and notarized, or at least pretending to be. But I'd been a judge long enough to smell forgery from a mile away. The dates didn't line up. The signatures were crooked. The notary seal had expired years ago. I laughed. But not everyone in the neighborhood knew what I knew, and Linda counted on that. Within days, rumors spread. At the grocery store, someone muttered, "Did you hear? That mansion actually belongs to the HOA." At the gas station, another whispered, "Guess he's been squatting all these years." Squatting. In my own home. I tried confronting her at an HOA meeting, but she stood up front like a queen at her coronation, declaring, "As of now, the Willow Heights mansion is under the guardianship of the HOA. We thank Judge Taylor for his custodianship, but it's time this property served the greater good." Applause broke out. Real applause. I slammed my hand on the table and shouted, "It was fraud." Pure and simple. She didn't flinch. She stared straight at me and said, "If you believe that, take it to court. Until then, the community stands with me." That was the moment I felt it, the crack inside myself. Because she wasn't wrong. Imagine the headlines. Retired judge sues his neighbors over a mansion. The optics alone could ruin me. Walking home that night, I heard neighbors whispering, felt their eyes like knives in my back. Even kids pedaling past my gate yelled, "That's not your house!" And for a few dark days, I actually believed maybe the fight wasn't worth it. Maybe I should just walk away, sell it, disappear somewhere quieter. I'd built this home with every dime I earned, restored every detail. But standing there, watching my own community turn against me, I felt smaller than I had since childhood, trapped in a duplex with walls too thin to block out the sound of other people's fights. But here's the thing. Self-doubt can eat you alive, or it can light a fire. And when I discovered Linda had gone beyond speeches and rumors, when I found out she actually signed vendor contracts as the owner and even secured a loan using my property as collateral, that fire ignited. She wasn't just a petty HOA queen anymore. She was committing fraud. And fraud I knew how to deal with. I started gathering evidence, quiet and methodical. I carried a recorder in my pocket, catching her at block parties announcing, "Our mansion will soon be the pride of Willow Heights. Taylor's just a placeholder." I photographed every banner she stapled to my gates, every flyer advertising my dining room as the new community hall. I collected statements from caterers she stiffed, vendors who were told she was the owner, and the jackpot, bank documents proving she'd used forged deeds to get a short-term loan. That wasn't neighborhood drama anymore. That was federal crime. Linda thought she was winning. She threw parties on my lawn, posed for photos on my staircase, paraded investors through my library, even planned a grand opening for what she called the Willow Heights Community Center. Invitations printed, ribbon ready to cut. And I let her. I let her bask in her own arrogance, let her climb higher and higher, because I knew the higher she climbed, the harder she'd fall. The day of the grand opening looked like a circus. Cars lined the street, balloons bobbing on my gates. A banner stretched across my porch. "Welcome to the Willow Heights Community Center." Linda strutted around in a crimson suit like a dictator on parade, waving to neighbors, shaking hands with investors. I stood back, binder tucked under my arm, waiting. She grabbed the ceremonial scissors, ready to slice the ribbon. When I stepped forward, "Before you cut that ribbon, Linda," I said, my voice carrying over the mic, "we should clear up a few legal matters." The crowd hushed. Her smile twitched. "Oh, come on, Taylor. Don't be petty. This is a celebration." "No," I said evenly. "This is fraud." I set the binder on the podium, opened it, and pulled out the first photo. Linda in my wine cellar, glass raised, introducing herself to caterers as the owner. Murmurs rippled. I pressed play on the recorder. Her voice echoed across the lawn. Taylor's just a placeholder. Soon this mansion will be ours. Gasps. I flipped to the forged documents, holding them high for everyone to see, pointing out the expired notary seal. Forgery is a felony, I announced. She tried to scoff, but her eyes betrayed her. Then came the loan papers, proof she'd used my house as collateral. Investors turned pale, whispering, scrolling their phones. Her voice cracked, shrill. "You're twisting things! This is taken out of context!" I cut her off, sharp as a gavel strike. "Would you like me to read the email you sent bragging? Soon the mansion will be mine and Taylor won't even see it coming?" Silence. For the first time. Linda Foster had no words. I pulled out my judicial ID, holding it up for all to see. Gasps swept the crowd. "My name is Judge Daniel Taylor," I said, "and I have gathered every piece of evidence of your crimes. You, Linda Foster, are guilty of fraud, forgery, criminal trespass, and attempted property theft." Chaos erupted. Neighbors whispered furiously. Investors backed away like rats from a sinking ship. And then the wail of sirens cut through the noise. 2 officers walked calmly through the gates. Linda's last defense crumbled as they cuffed her, right there in front of everyone she'd tried to impress. She screamed, "This isn't over! You'll regret this!" But her voice broke, raw with panic. As they pushed her into the cruiser, I looked at her one last time and whispered, just loud enough, "You wanted a courtroom, Linda. Now you'll get one, but not with me on the bench. You'll be the one standing in front of it." Her eyes burned, but underneath the rage I saw it. Fear. Real, unshakable fear. When the cruiser pulled away, the crowd stood stunned, quiet, like a spell had finally broken. Neighbors avoided my gaze, shame painted on their faces. A few muttered apologies, but I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The silence, the way their cheers for Linda had dissolved into whispers of disgust. That was enough. I walked back up my steps, binder still in hand, past the torn banners and popped balloons, past the trampled lawn and stained floors, and for the first time in weeks, the mansion felt like mine again. And the lesson? Envy poisons people. Entitlement blinds them. But no matter how loud the lies get, the truth, if you're patient enough, will always cut through.